All right, we're going to quickly and easily draw the crane drawing. We're going to use construction lines and focus on that, as well as you should take a detailed look at the actual drawing and the dimensions listed on it, because reading the dimensions is more important than just finishing the drawing. So the first thing we need to do is set our construction layer up. We go to Layer Properties, we click the stack of paper with the light, and we call it Construction Layer. We're going to pick any color we want. I'm going with my trusty magenta, and if I double click, it makes it the current layer. I can also change it here in the ribbon. Now, I'm going to draw a line straight up, and this line is 92 units straight up, and I got that number by adding together all the different measurements they gave me on the dimension line, and I just wanted one solid line, so I made it 92 instead of a section of smaller lines. We're then going to offset it 5 units, and we need to take the center one and move to the right, and then the one we did to the right, go to the right again. So we've got 2 offsetted lines, and we're going to go back to offset, and this time we're going to type 8 and enter, and we're going to click the center one 8 and over. And then the same thing again, offset 12 this time. Now the last offset is going to be 32, and it's from this center one that we've been using, but it goes the opposite way. So there's what it should end up looking like for our vertical lines for construction. The next step, we're going to draw a line from the top straight across, and we're going to go to offset, and we're going to offset this one down too. Now, once again, these numbers come right off of the drawing. So after this 2, we're going to offset down 15 units right here, and then offset 4 2 times. So down 4, then down 4. We then need to offset 36, but this is the difference. The 36 comes from this one here down, and then back up 10 units. Now this one that comes up 10 units, we're going to actually extend it to this other line that we made in order to get the corner of our hook. So these are the construction lines required. We've got them all in place and we're ready to draw. So to draw, we're going to switch back to our object layer, and the first area we're going to start to draw from is this one over 8 units, so the second line here, and it comes straight up to this line and then on a 45-degree angle. So we can set our angle to 45, and then I can trim that just to the top of our construction line there, and then we're going to draw a line to cap it off, and then one line for the bottom. So that's the beginning of our top of our crane. The next thing is we have to draw a circle. And the circle is going to be 2-point, and it actually goes from here to here. And then we can trim the inside part of the circle that we don't require, and we're going to draw a line from the top of that circle straight across, and same at the bottom from the curve to the center. Now if I turn off my layer for a second for construction, this is what I see, and I'm going to want to mirror this one. So I'm going to grab the mirror command and select all of this, choose my 2 points of intersection, and hit enter. There we go. The top of the crane is already complete. We turn back on our construction layer, and we're going to start with some of the bigger circles down below. The first circle is a center radius, and it actually comes down here, but then in 5 right here. And this radius is 35. And then we're going to do another circle center radius, but this one is actually located 5 more past. So it's not this one, it's actually this one. And this one has a radius of 30. And you can see how the two circles, intersect. We're going to draw another circle center radius way over at this point, and this one has a radius of 3. So that's going to set up the beginning of our hook part of the drawing, or the crane. So in order to establish that, what we have to do first is go tan radius, and we're going to select the tangent of this circle and the tangent of this circle, and the radius, if we look at our sheet, is 20. So it makes this circle that now we can trim away. So I'm going to trim that, and it forms the beginning of our hook here. All right. To do the inside part of it, we have to add another circle. This one's a center radius, and it's right from this point here, and it's a radius of 15. And once again, we're going to go tan radius, and I'm going to go from the tangent of this one to the tangent of this one, and the radius is 38. And once again, if we trim this off, we end up getting the hook part. Here, oops. I shouldn't have undone that other part. Hold on. Trim this part here, this part here, this part here, this. That looks a little nicer. So there's the beginning of our hook coming into place. We now have to finish off the back side of this, so I can actually, if I turn off the pink layer for a second and I click trim, we can get rid of that part of our 30 line that comes here, and then the top part of our 35 line. 30 line, sorry, it comes down to a 30. So with this one in place, if I turn back on my construction layer and we go fillet, and when I select fillet, I can click on the radius here, and my radius is actually going to be 7. So I just type that in. And if I click my circle with the second line in, all we have to do is trim this little bit of an overhang, and we're golden with the back side of our hook. Now we still have to do the front side of our hook, and that can be done a couple of different ways. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to mirror, and I'm going to flip these lines through the middle point so they appear on either side. And we're going to start with a circle with a radius of 4. So if I go here, there's my radius of 4. I'm going to move this circle in 2 units, and that gives us a good location for this bottom part coming down, and our curve or radius still being the correct one of 4. And then we can tan radius this. So if I take the radius of that and I come down to the tangent of that, and my radius is 22, it ends up giving me a nice curve that I can trim. And I'm going to use cutting edges. So my cutting edge is going to be this one and this one, this one, this one. And that should be all of them. And get rid of that. And then I can get rid of these ones right here. And there is a quick version of how we can get our hook in place. We also have to dimension the hook. So in order to properly dimension the hook, we have to make a new layer. We're going to make a layer called dimension. We're going to make it red. It's our preferred choice of dimension layers. Make it current by clicking it twice so it sets it here. And we can begin by doing, okay, let's check a linear dimension. So if I go here and I select linear, I know that from this point here to this point here, if I drag it out, should be 15, and it is. I can then add another linear dimension, and it'll be from here to here, and this one is 4. And you want to drag it out so that they're in line and they appear to be neat and orderly. So across the top, my linear dimension would go from here to here, and that brings it up to 16. So the other dimensions we have could include something like a radius. So if we go radius dimension and we click on this line, it determines that it's 22. And if you notice, the arrowhead's touching the area that it's located at. The leader lines can be adjusted at any time. So we're going to add another radius down here at the bottom. There's my radius of 15. That is looking good. Another radius right here, 38. Another radius up top here, 3. So these ones all tell us the right size that we have. Now, we need to add a couple more radius. So this one over here, there's my 35. This one over here, this one should say 30. So these are all important numbers that we should have present and accounted for. There's my radius of 7. This one gets a little confusing because of the lines that are over top. We'll add another radius right over here of a radius of 4. Put it into position. Now we're missing some of our dimension lines that have occurred based on where construction lines are at. So if we go back and turn our construction lines on for a minute, and I come in here and I do a linear dimension, and the first linear dimension we have is located between these two spots right here. There it is at 5. We could do this again, and it's between here and this one, which, oops. That one is 5. Dimension, let's see this one should be 5 as well. Huh, it's this one, that's why. That's all right. Just had the wrong one picked out. There we go, there's our other 5. And as long as they're in line, they look good. So when we turn off our construction layer, those measurements are still present and able for us to dimension. So fully dimension your object, add the ones you see on your sheet, and it should look out something like this when it's done. Then make sure you save it to the T drive as crane drawing. Enjoy.